only of our phenomenal honorees, but just like I said, of everybody in the room, and WISE as a chapter, and really what our mission stands for. So I want to take a minute to, first of all, thank our 2011 honorees, who have been, like I said, serving on our advisory board for the past year. Amy Stanton, if you're here, if you could please stand. Thank you both so very much. All three of you have just been such a phenomenal board this last year. We've really enjoyed getting to know you and having you be a part of our family, inspire us. So thank you very much for your service for us over the last year. I'd also like to recognize some other individuals in the room who have served previously on our advisory board and our executive board. Felisa Israel is in the room, I know. Felisa. Jim Annenberg is in the room, who's our founding, don't try to hide. President. Pam Levine is also in the room, who also served on our executive board. I'm not forgetting anybody, I apologize if I am, but thank you ladies for being here. Julie's right in front of me, there you are. Teresa Paula for Paul Mitchell, thank you. She's also served on our advisory board. She sits right in front of me.
My back is to you, that's okay.
Okay. So anyways, there's also a handful of individuals that I have to recognize. And this is a group of women who have taken a lot of time out of when we all have busy schedules. None of us have extra time, but we really make time. And I'm talking about our LA Executive Board, our WISE LA Leadership Board. We have a phenomenal group of women who have just taken ownership over their roles and put on events as a group, have put on events like this evening, but really we work hard all year long. And we're not talking like just when we have an event. There's emails going every single day. So I just really want to recognize them. If I say your name, if you please stand and please help me thank them. First I'll start with Allison Howard, who's our Executive Vice President. Kristen O'Connell is our Vice President of Finance, and she's a manager at Social Katie Rainey, Kayla Darty, who's also served as our Director of Career Development. Where's Kayla? Lindsay Burnett, who's our Director of Media and Public Relations and the founder of Marketing Maven Public Relations. Sarah Spears, our Director of Membership and Recognition and co-founder of C6 Sports. Join us this evening as our co-director of mentorship and the vice president of professional services for Scoutwear. Erica Lamiel, who's our other co-director of mentorship and manager for Action Sports. Linda Travis, who I don't think is here this evening, has served on our board over the last year as our director of social media, and Lila Brown, who will be now serving as our director of social media, who is the founder of LB Public Relations. Vanessa Shea, our Director of Partnerships and Director of Partnerships. Sarah Musgrove, our Co-Director of Programming and founder of Musgrove Productions. Sarah. Michelle Sable, our Co-Director of Programming, the founder and Chief Creator of Possibilities at Blue Firefly Defense. Obviously, Sarah and Shelley had a lot to do with this evening as our co-directors of programming. Phenomenal work, and I also want to thank our committee members. If you're sort of on any of our committees for our chapter, if you could please stand. We'd like to recognize you. I know a lot of our programming committees here, Pam. Thank you guys. You guys have been fantastic, so thank you all for your hard work throughout the year. I started to kind of think about and put some thoughts together about what tonight represents for our members. Because everything that we do as a chapter, as a leadership, is always about, okay, what is it serving? Is it serving a purpose for our members? We always ask that question, what's the purpose? Is it serving our mission? And as much as it's absolutely about honoring our women of inspiration this evening, it's also kind of when I thought about what our mission is, and for those of you who don't know, it's about being the leading voice and resource for women, professional women in the business of sports. And when I took our mission and I thought about our programming that we do all year round, it really came down to inspiration. It came down to the word inspiration, which I guess is why we decided to have our Women of Inspiration Awards, right? But it's as a leadership board, we want to inspire our members, and our members want to come to us, come to our events, and they want to be inspired. So I thought about that, and I thought about, well, we can't serve our mission, we can't meet this if we don't have the right people in place. So Paula and Trista are absolutely two of these individuals, right, who have inspired others, but more importantly, they've allowed themselves to be inspired, I would imagine, throughout their careers to get to where they are. So I think when I thought about, okay, what does this mean for everybody in the room? It's more of, yes, let's honor these women, absolutely, let them inspire us, but that's the point of that all of us can play that action of being open to receiving their inspiration, because at the end of the day, it's when we grow and we move through our careers, we want to turn around and do that for somebody else. So I hope that tonight you guys will not only hear from our keynote, which I know is going to inspire as well, but take something away and bring it back. And keep it in and bring it back to whoever might be looking to you as a mentor, because I know these women have served as mentors, they've paved the way for us, and we're really excited to honor them this evening, and I'm excited to hear from you here in a little bit as well. So first, before we dive into, I know everybody's hungry, eager to eat, there are some thank yous that I need to make sure that we get out there. A huge thank you to AEG for partnering with us this evening. I know we have several individuals from AEG for thank you just for serving as our presenting sponsor. We'd like to thank Lululemon, Stila, Van Duka, Cliff Bar, Sport Chalet, and Antoinette Wines. Everybody loved the wine. Was the wine good? All of our sponsors alive have donated to your wonderful gift bags that you will be receiving before you leave here this evening. Thank you to Annenberg Beach House. What a phenomenal venue, right? This place is just fantastic. I think we might have to come back here, that's all I'm saying. And a special thank you also to Jane Schonberger and George Morency of PrettyTough.com, who are videotaping our event this evening. So thank you all to our sponsors. We would not be here and having this event without you. So having said that, oh yes, we will be eating dinner shortly. So before we get to hear from our keynote speaker, Amy Jo Martin, she will be inspiring us all and giving us a very, well, I'll just let her, I'm not even going to touch on that, but Shelley and I had an opportunity to hear her speak at the ESPW Summit in October, and we just had to have her here, so you guys you're in for a treat. But before we get to that, we will be serving dinner, and we will be dismissing tables. A board member will be dismissing tables starting from the front of the room, so hang tight, we will come by and dismiss your table. Just enjoy the evening, be inspired, let yourself be inspired, and thank you guys all for being here. We really do appreciate it.
It is also now my distinct pleasure to introduce our first honoree for the 2012 Wise Women of Inspiration. And it is really my great pleasure to introduce Paula Lentini, who is the SVP of PacSun. And you all have her bio, but I will tell you a little bit about my own personal experiences with meeting Paula. It brings us all back to like the whole, just connecting the dots from our mission of WISE, which is really to be a resource for women in our industry, in the sports industry. It's to really utilize our network as very powerful people within this industry, and really connecting onto Amy Jo and her presentation. It really is about human contact and really connecting with people on a very authentic level. And I cannot say more about Paula Lentini because having met her, and again, it was through a recommendation from a friend who said, you have to meet Paula. She is an amazing person and a leader and a woman who inspires everyone that she meets and everyone that she works with. And having met with her and sat with her in her office at PacSun, which is a wonderful office space, I immediately got the sense that she is someone who tremendously is a very service-oriented person. And when I say being of service, I really mean the truest sense of really not just about, it's not about pleasing people. It's really about telling people the truth. It is really about helping people to connect to the talent that is within themselves to be the best of who they are. She empowers her team in retail and in the young people who are really the future of our generation to be the best that they can be. And if that isn't the purpose of WISE, I don't know what is. So it is my great pleasure and honor to present the Women of Inspiration Award for 2012, WISE Los Angeles, to Paula Lentini.
Well, wow. So note to self, never follow Angel. That was great, so insightful, you're so smart. I'm so inspired by you, so congratulations on your success. That's tremendous. Do want to say thank you, Shelley. I was so inspired by you that day. I mean, I think, after speaking for 90 minutes, we hugged each other. It was like we were best friends, so thank you. And I was having the opportunity to speak to a few of you, and I will tell you what an impressive group you all are. So I am truly honored to be here today and share a little bit of my story. So, who am I? I am the daughter of a Polish mother and a Sicilian father. And there's a story here. Because my Polish mother was very nurturing and caring, a teacher her whole life, and really enabled and instilled in me, you can be anything you want to be, and never made decisions for me, allowed me to make decisions at an early age, and allowed me to make mistakes, and celebrated my mistakes. If you can imagine, as a young child, that's a pretty cool mom. On the other hand, I had my Sicilian father, who's very strict, very heavy-handed, and knew when to be a teacher, and knew when he needed to push me and challenge me to be better. And trust me, he did that a lot. So when I think about how does that play into my life and who I am, and Shelley's spot on. I am a servant leader, and I believe passionately and maniacally about servant leadership. And what does that mean? What it means to me is that people really don't care what you have to say, my personal opinion. They really don't care what you have to say unless they know that you care. And when I think about the young people that I've had the fortune to go ahead and work with and develop and coach and train and grow and see to be successful in their personal and professional lives, it's been such an honor for me to be able to do that. When I think about what did my father teach me and how does that show up in who I am as a leader relative to servant leadership, it's about, as a leader, knowing when to be a teacher and knowing when to just shut up and be a student. And I'll tell you what, I am so fortunate to be at PacSun, because at PacSun, I work with so many young people. Our target audience that you may or may not know is 16 to 24. And when I go in my store, I can't tell you how many people I meet, and I say, hey, what's your name? Melissa. Hey, Melissa, how long have you been here? This is actually my first job. My first job. And I have to stop and think, wow, look at all the opportunities she has ahead of herself. And then I meet another woman, and it's like, how are you doing? My name's Julie. I just joined PacSun. I'm an assistant manager. I'm a store manager. And these women are 20 years old, 22 years old, 24 years old. And I think back about my career and how much I had grown. And it really was because of two things. Servant leadership, number one, and number two, showing up every day how you want your people to show up. And when I think about any time I've embraced company values wherever I've gone, that has been such a tremendous learning for me. But more importantly, servant leadership is really about, I might report to the CEO, but I really work for 8,000 frontline sales associates. And what I believe really makes you successful in a career is listening to your customer, listening to your internal customer and your external customer. So when I go into store visits, people sometimes are nervous, but what I do is I ask a ton of questions, and I do more listening than I do talking. And what inspires me every single day are these 8,000 frontline sales associates that have the fortune to engage with our customer every single day. And the knowledge that they have is so stimulating. And the power that they have, they don't even know how powerful they are in representing our brand every single day. But they inspire me, and I am just so fortunate to be able to work with them. So when I think again about being in service to our PacSun sales associates, I believe that's what's making us successful. When I joined the company 2.5 years ago, people thought I had lost my mind. We were down to 16 comp when I joined the company. We are now posting positive comps, and we were getting back to profitability. So what does that say? That say you have to take risks in life. And I'll never forget when I was training for my first marathon. I'd never run a marathon. The longest I'd ever run was like 5 miles. And I said, you know what? My father had come down with cancer. I said, I'm going to join the Leukemia Lymphoma Society, and I'm going to learn how to run a marathon. And my husband was like, you have never run more than 5 miles. Are you out of your mind? And I said, probably. And of course I chose Alaska. Which why? I'm like, oh, go to Alaska. Why not? And again, that mother, be the risk taker. It's okay if you fail. The Sicilian father, like, go do it. You can do better. So You know, doing this marathon with two of my girlfriends was one of the best things I ever did because it built my confidence that you can take risks and you can do things you never thought you could do before. And then how do you take that discipline to training to do a marathon? How do you take that feeling you have when you run across that finish line? And then how do you bring that passion and commitment and belief that you have in yourself to that 16 to 24-year-old that's working in our store every day so successfully. So that's what gets me fired up every day. That's what inspires me every day. And I've been in retail my whole life, and you can tell it's in my blood, and people think I'm crazy. But when you get to work with young people and you get to learn from them, and we've got a lot of Gen Y, and I'll tell you what I love about them is they don't like rules. And that they have no reservations. You ask them a question, they're going to tell you the truth. So when I want to find out what's really going on in the store, I go to the youngest people there, because I know they're going to tell me the truth, and I love that about them. But more importantly, they have the best ideas, the most creative ideas. They have no fear, they have no reservation, and they are the future. So I'm super excited about the privilege I get every day to work with young people, and truly honored to have this award. Thank you so much, and really look forward to meeting more of you. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. And I'm sure you all have been kind of thinking about who inspires you over the course of this night. So it could be, you know, someone, a political leader or a community member, or maybe a family member. But for me, I'm a new mom, and someone just like Trista Schroeder is someone who inspires me. Thinking about how to balance your personal and your professional life. She is the general counsel at Wasserman Media Group, and she also raises a beautiful daughter, Lily, who's just wonderful. So, as Wasserman's general counsel, Trista provides invaluable legal advice and guidance to one of the world's elite sports agencies and marketing companies. Through her role at Wasserman's, she is on the corporate management team, and she oversees the company's mergers and acquisitions, corporate governance, employment matters, and strategic development. She's a tough negotiator, but she's an extremely kind and thoughtful person. I'm excited to welcome Trista to our advisory board, and her advice, wisdom, and direction will be valuable in leading LA chapter to the next level. So it's my pleasure to honor Trista and to bring her to accept this award.
Good evening. Thank you very much. Yikes, you all saved the lawyer for last. I'm not sure that was a smart calendaring move on your part, but I'll try not to put you to sleep prematurely. Thank you to the Women of Wise. I am truly honored to be here this evening and to be recognized in this way by an organization that I think is just great. And Paula, congratulations. It is nice to be in your company. You know, coming here tonight was a big deal for me because, as Katie mentioned, I do have a young one at home, a 3-year-old. And so we had a long conversation this morning about how Mommy wasn't going to be able to be home for bedtime. And I said to her, you know, Mommy has a really important dinner to go to tonight. I won't be home for bedtime. And she said, it's more important than night-night? And I thought to myself, you know, how do I convey the message to her that while our bedtime routine is very, very important to me, this particular night, this particular dinner was also really important to Mommy. So I tried again, and I said, well, Mommy's going to get an award tonight. Isn't that exciting? I think I have to go. And she looked at me with the widest eyes, and she said to me, oh, like Gabby Douglas? And, you know, I thought about that for a second, and I have to be honest, you know, I trained for a great period of time to be able to practice my chosen profession, but outside of that, honey, I think that might be the full extent of the similarities between Gabby Douglas and I. But, you know, I thought about it for a minute, and I thought, you know, she's really got something there, because, you know, Gabby Douglas is a really inspiring person. athletes are really inspiring people. I think what they do is they demonstrate to all of us sitting there watching them that that there is greatness inside of us, and that if we try really hard and we practice and we focus and we have a little fortitude, we can do what we want. And thinking about what I do, I'm a lawyer, right? Not necessarily the most inspiring job there is out there. I traffic in problems. People come to me when they're in trouble. People come to me when they need help. Our industry, I think it's fair to say, has its fair share of problems. You could say I make my living off of these problems, right? But I think what my daughter's question to me really underscored for me, and of course her deep love and admiration for Gabby Douglas, was that what we do is really powerful, and this business can be part of something that is important and that does change lives. I was at another one of these great dinners a couple of weeks ago, and I heard this great story. A woman was being honored by Human Rights Watch for some work that she had done, and she told a story about this recent human rights victory she was so proud of that couldn't have happened if it weren't for sports. And she told the following story about these two female athletes from Saudi Arabia. These women had been practicing and training their chosen sport, and shockingly, or not, Saudi Arabia had never ever sent a woman in their entire history to the Olympics. And these women, they wanted to change that. They wanted to go. They wanted the right, like anyone else, to be able to represent their country and compete in the Olympics. So what they did is they decided to start telling people about their plight and what their goal was. We want to go to the Olympics. And, the movement just mushroomed through social media with the help of some lawyers. It became an enormous international awareness campaign about these women's plight and their goal. And enormous pressure was brought to bear on the Saudi government. And you know what? It worked. These women showed up in London this summer and competed under the aegis of the Saudi government and the Saudi flag. And you just think something we completely take for granted. Such an amazing story. And, Jack Rogue, who is the president of the IOC, during the summer he was asked about this at the Games. He was asked to comment on what he thought about these women and their plight, and he said, I thought it was so great, he said, "We cannot end gender discrimination in every aspect of human interaction. But what we can do here is we can use sports as a tool to demonstrate to girls and young women that they should have the confidence to stand up for what they believe in and to surmount any goal in any of their endeavors." Sign me up. I'm happy to be a part of an industry that's able to do that. And an industry that will hopefully inspire my own little 3-year-old gymnast at home to overcome any boundaries. So thank you very much. Thank you, Katie, and thank you for the Women of Wise.